Well, hello again. Stephen Downs here once more. Episode 18 of Making a MOOC, and we're still working on ethics, analytics, and the duty of care. Picking up from the last session, you remember I was putting in slides, so got that working. It took me about an hour to write the code, so you're probably just as happy I didn't show all of that, but I'll show you the result of that work. But anyhow, here's what it looks like. This is a session where I just did a one-page PDF to indicate that there were no slides. Here's another one, The Joy of Ethics. That looks pretty nice, I think. Here's another one, The Search for the Social Algorithm. You see the buttons work beautifully. So I made my keylist command work for those. So that was in the template, and then you can see here I was able to just simply upload, browse, upload, and then I just created PDF versions of the slide sessions that I had done. So now these are being served as PDFs straight from the system, and now all I have to do in the future to make sure my slideshow is when I'm doing my presentation page, I simply upload the PDF and the system will take care of the rest, which is going to save me some time. So what I had to do for that, I had to make a few changes in the code. The problem was that the make keylist command didn't actually do any searches. Well, it did do a limited search. You could use a search keyword, and then it would look for that field, or sorry, that string in the title, the content, or the category. That's how I was making the tag work. Excuse me. But that's the only search it did. So what I needed to do is give it a more generic search function, and that's what I did up here. So I have a function in Grasshopper, it's called make where, and it'll take the values for any scripted command inside the text and create a search string out of those. So I use that in make keyword, where I'm looking for a list of records from a certain table. For example, make keyword, the table might be post, the type might be link, and it'll give me a list of all the link posts. And I can narrow that down, post type equals, and then say URL, squiggly thing, tilde, pick a website, Yahoo, and it would show only those links with Yahoo in the link. So I wanted that capacity, I wanted to make that capacity available in make keylist. So this is how I did it. So what I did is I just simply copied the script into something called www values. And then I had to specify the table and the ID that I'm searching for. See, what keylist does is it gets every single, from the graph, it gets every single matching item. So in this case, it's getting every single file for the current presentation. So it's going to it'll retrieve the PowerPoint presentation, it'll retrieve the audio file, it'll retrieve the PDF file, and then and if I have images associated or anything like that, it'll retrieve those. And then for each of those things, it reads in all of the data in order to display it. So I just put the search fields into where it reads in all the data. And if the data results in 0 results, then it just doesn't do anything, which is exactly the result I want. But if it is a match, then it'll bring it in and it'll process it according to the instructions below. So the way I did that is I put this code in here. So I'm going to add this here, and then I had to really, that's all I needed to do. So make, and it's funny because all this time make where I've only ever used it in the one place, but you know, abstracting it out like that way back when was a good plan, because now I'm using it in two different places. So I'm going to add this to the code in GitHub. So we'll go to GitHub, and probably already logged in. Yep, we'll go to the Grasshopper repository, HTML, CGI bin, editor, make, and we'll open up the code here. And so we're just going to go make page data. It's going to have to scroll down a bit. Make badges, make next. We'll come back to that. Make boxes, make escape, make conditional. See all the different things I can do. Make key list. So here we go. So if we look here, here's our source. So it's right after this. Oh yeah, right. I had to change that line as well. And I deleted that line. So, well, I didn't delete it. I just commented it out, because I don't need it. You know, I could just delete it now. But I comment, sometimes I comment stuff like that out so that I have a pretty good sense of what my thinking was. Or, you know, this replaced that. So, and then if that never gives me a problem in the future, then I'll just leave it. So this is the line that I commented out. I'll replace it with the code that I created. I think I left a space underneath it after, didn't I? Yeah. I just like to keep sometimes like these logical units here, right? All right, and now, okay, so that's fine. The only other thing I had to do was in make where I had to add another factor. So make where. So make where has a list of things that it does not want to use, because these are all terms that have a specific meaning in the keyword command. So I had to add postfix, which is something from the graph. So I put that in here so that I don't end up trying to search on an element named postfix. So I need to add that as well. So that's further down. So I'll just copy that. Make it easier to put in when I put it in. So make where is down a ways, down. Make associations. Make icon. I'll be fixing that later. Make media. Make related icon. Make keywords. Make where. Okay, so my list of things, and there it is. Oh, prefix. It wasn't postfix. It was key table was the one. Yeah. All right. So that updates the code in GitHub. That was an hour's work for those 6 lines of code. More than an hour's work, actually. So we'll save this. So update to add search from make where available and make key list. Search using make where available and make key list. So this has actually greatly increased the capacity of the make keylist command, and I'm really happy I did it. So I'll commit these changes, and so that takes care of that. So now if we let's go to the view, and I began to use this elsewhere almost immediately. Oops. So we'll go to the presentation view. Submit. Here we go. And we'll look at presentation HTML. So now you see I'm using it here for my presentation slides, right? So now I can just, this is the actual search term right here. There we go. Now you can see it. So here we go. So using the pdf.js script, which is all now contained in this box, I just use this. And you notice the backslash dot also worked. This is a regular expression search. So anytime I can take any field, except for fields that correspond with a reserved word. That's the only thing. And there should be a way around that. I'll think about that. But I can take any field and use the tilde, and now use any regular expression to pull out the list of related, using the graph, the list of related items that match this regular expression. And in this case, the backslash dot means it actually has to contain the string dot PDF. So if it has just PDF somewhere else in the file name, it's not going to be a match. It has to be .pdf. Theoretically, I could just put a $sign at the end, and in fact, I probably should. That should probably still work. And now it'll have to be .pdf at the end of the line. That's what that $sign signifies. Don't know if that'll work. It should. So oops, that's the example I was working with. So let's have a look here and we'll see. Let's see, and force equals yes to force it to update. Yeah, it worked just fine. So awesome. That's exactly what I wanted to happen. So, okay, now, so what's really nice now is I have all of these presentations all look really good, and it would be really nice, for some people, not for everyone, but, especially people after the course, to just come along, go through all the presentations, one after the other, because, most of the content of the course is in these presentations. We have all the transcripts, the audio, the video, everything's here. And if you could just go through these, you could get the course. And it's a little bit passive, but, you should be able to click on the module, or, maybe later on I could add an associated task to this particular presentation. Whatever, right? In fact, I might well do that. Because it's really simple to do. But for now, you can't. You have to go back to the list of all presentations. These pages still aren't updating properly, and we're going to have to go back to the cron to make this, to see this. But for now, see what I want. Let's go to my website. Here's the presentation on my website. You see how, only the previous is working? Well, that's well, again, the update might not be working here either. The way it should be working, we'll come down here a bit back when it was working better. Yeah, you see previous, next. So there's a couple of things that have to happen for this to work. First of all, I have to have the previous next items defined in the template, which is what I'll do. And then I need to update these presentations on a regular basis just to realign the previous next. And it's probably just a good idea. So like this was last updated in March, and that was the last time it needed to be updated. If we come up here, this one was last updated in September. So we have a previous. This one was last updated in May. You see, now that should have been updated more recently to add the new presentation link. And that's supposed to happen automatically. And clearly it's not happening automatically. So there's something broken there. And it's been broken for a little while. It's been broken since last March. So I'm going to need to fix that. That's probably beyond the scope of this particular video series. But I want to enable this. So let's enable this. So if we look now at how I do the templates here, so we'll go to list view and we'll look for the presentation templates. And we'll look at the presentation HTML. And what we'll see at the top, see I've created a little nav bar. I've also created an H entry. So it's going to contain some other stuff as well. See the information about, oh, I'm not sure what. Article class equals H entry. I'm not sure what I was up to with that. Well, I do know. I mean, I was using, this was to support things like web mentions and such. Anyhow, article class equals H entry. Yeah, that's the only place I use the H's. Well, that's something else that I'll have to come back to. So many things. You know, it's like juggling cups filled with hot coffee. Anyhow, I'm interested in the nav bar. So, I can put in previous and next here. And Grasshopper will automatically look for the previous presentation. It organizes them by their date, specifically the creation date. I may be able to change that. I'm not sure. I'd have to look at my code to see if I ever enabled that. And then the all presentations in the center. So let's take this nav bar, which consists of these divs. I'll copy this and we'll go to the Grasshopper or the ethics version of this. And previous is next. Well, it's not quite the same, is it? Let's make this a little smaller so I can think about it the way it should work. Canvas, the canvas button ID equals previous, button ID equals next. Oh, well, that should be working. Previous and next should be working. So why isn't it? I don't even see them. Huh. All I see is the all presentations in the middle. But this is what produces that, right? So what am I getting instead? Well, first of all, let's update this page so I have a proper list of the presentations. It might just be, well, that might be what's broken and why cron isn't working. But, okay, course videos is what I've called it. Maybe not the best name, but yeah. Publish. All right, now we'll reload this page. Okay. So now, see now that was a make keyword here that lists all these presentations for me. So let's look at this page. So there should be a previous link here and there should be a next link there, and we don't have it. So is there anything there? Let's look at the source. View selection source. So nav bar. all presentations, style equals float left, style equals float right, but there's nothing. So there's something wrong with that code there. So I'll need to fix that. And I'll also need to fix the cron. But you get the idea, right, from this presentation, which is the main point of this particular video. When this is working, you can see you can just jump through all the previous and next presentations. And it's really nice, and it gives you this sense of flow. You can go through and just take it as, you know, a course. You know, you can binge it, if you will, as a bunch of videos. Maybe not the most exciting videos in the world, although, you know, I think they're pretty interesting personally, but, you know, it's up to you. And then, yeah, ideally I'd put the activities or whatever right there. That makes this MOOC kind of resemble the Coursera or the edX style MOOCs. And so it's not my recommended way to take them, but the idea is flexibility, right? If you want to take the MOOC as though it were an edX or Coursera MOOC, you have that option. But if you don't, if you want to do it differently, well, you can do it any way you want. You can go to all of the presentations. You can go through all of the modules, and frankly, that's what I want here from the modules, right? This is the getting ready module, etc. I should have a bar maybe at the top or maybe along here, you know, all modules, which is this, well, this list here, but previous module, next module, in order to create that flow. And so there's different pathways through the material. You can go from module to module to module and then go through the activities, or you can go from activity to activity to activity. Although these are all, you know, generally live activities. I really should call them event. Or task, from task to task to task. And again, I want one of these bars right here. So I'm going to work on that. We'll come back to that at the beginning of the next video. We'll see what I've done in order to make sure that these tasks or these next and previous indications show up everywhere, so that you have flow in your course. Very important. It's a usability thing, right? People don't need to worry about the navigation. They can just go next, next, next. That's what Pressbooks doesn't have, and really should have. Anyhow, that's it for now. I wish it had worked so I could show it to you, but it didn't work. That's life making a MOOC, at least for me. But you know, once I fix this, it should work, and hopefully it should always work in the future, unless I break it again. All right, I'm Stephen Downs. That's it for now. Talk to you later.